Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into the world of credit advising.
Credit advising, yes.
We've got these RoleCatcher guides to help us. They're supposed to be like really in-depth. So
Oh, they're great.
I'm curious. Let's see what we've got. And just so everyone's clear, we're talking about like helping people with their own debt, right?
Right.
Not like managing investments or stuff.
This is personal finance working directly with folks.
Yeah, totally different ballgame. Okay, so someone comes to a credit advisor.
They're probably stressed.
Big time. Who wouldn't be? But what's a credit advisor actually doing? Beyond just saying, hey, spend less.
Right. It's way more than that. It's like, imagine you're a financial detective almost.
Ooh, I like that. A detective.
You're looking at their whole picture, right? Their income, debts, maybe they've got medical bills, student loans, who knows? And you have to spot those hidden dangers.
Hidden dangers. What do you mean by that?
So let's say they're drowning in credit card debt. On the surface, it seems like, oh, they just need to control their spending.
Right, the classic advice.
But maybe as you dig deeper, you find out they had this huge medical expense, totally unexpected.
Oh, wow.
So now it's less about being irresponsible and more about how do we negotiate with these healthcare providers? Can we consolidate some debt?
That's where the expertise comes in.
Exactly.
The guide mentions difficult clients.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm picturing some tense phone calls in this job, huh?
There's some of that for sure, but it's not all spreadsheets and stress, you know?
Okay, good.
You're in a professional setting, you're analyzing financial records, creating these personalized plans.
So you need to be good with people and numbers.
100%. This isn't just about being good at math. You're dealing with people at a very vulnerable point in their lives. Active listening is huge, empathy, building trust.
It's like you got to be their cheerleader, but also their strategist.
Exactly. And you need to be ready for those curveballs.
Speaking of curveballs, the guide mentions high earning potential, which is always nice to hear, but also ethical dilemmas. Now that's intriguing. What kind of ethical dilemmas are we talking about?
Well, think about it. You're not just dealing with numbers, you're dealing with people's lives. So you might be in a position where you have to advise against a loan that could benefit you financially because it's not in the client's best interest.
Right. So integrity is a big deal in this field.
Huge. You need to be comfortable making tough calls, always putting the client's needs first.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, hey, this actually speaks to me. I want to be that person. What's the path to becoming a credit advisor?
That's where it gets interesting. RoleCatcher, they actually give some really good advice on this, and it's not always what you'd think.
Really? Spill the tea. So it's not as straightforward as like, get this degree, you're good to go.
Not necessarily. You think it's all finance, right?
Right.
And yeah, that's a good path for sure. But this RoleCatcher guide, it also mentions things like, get this, psychology, as being surprisingly useful.
Psychology. Okay, hold up. Now I'm really curious. How does psychology play into being a credit advisor?
Remember how we were talking about like those hidden dangers and needing empathy and all that?
Yeah.
Psychology kind of gives you the tools to actually understand how people think about money, you know?
Oh, like their money mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Their emotional triggers around spending, why they make the decisions they do. It can really help you connect with clients on a deeper level.
So you're not just throwing numbers at them, you're understanding where they're coming from.
Exactly.
That's super interesting. But okay, let's say you've got the education, whatever that looks like. What about actually getting a job?
Right, because the job market's a beast.
Tell me about it.
RoleCatcher had some good tips on that too. Of course, internships, always a good bet, right?
Yeah, internships at like banks or whatever.
Exactly. But they also mentioned volunteering.
Volunteering.
Yeah, like at credit counseling places, you know?
Oh, that's smart.
Getting that real-world experience, working with people who are actually struggling.
Hands-on.
Yeah. You learn to navigate those tough conversations, build trust.
It shows you're serious about helping people, not just like crunching numbers.
Exactly. And as you gain experience, you might even find you're drawn to a certain niche within credit advising.
Oh, niches. Like what?
Well, you could specialize in a certain industry, like maybe you love working with small business owners.
Okay, so you become the small business debt guru. I like it.
Exactly. Or you could focus on a specific type of debt. Credit cards, student loans, mortgages, each one has its own unique challenges.
So you could be like the student loan whisperer or something.
There you go. And as you build that expertise, you can move up, you know? Senior credit advisor, developing programs, mentoring new advisors.
So there's room to grow in this field. It's not just a stepping stone.
Oh, definitely not. And speaking of stepping stones, RoleCatcher has that AI resume builder. Have you ever used one of those?
Okay, I gotta be honest, I'm always a little skeptical of those things. Like, can AI really write a better resume than a human?
I get it. I was too at first. But it's all about the data they're using.
What do you mean?
So RoleCatcher, they've built this huge database of job descriptions, keywords, all that stuff that hiring managers are looking for.
So it's not just randomly throwing words on a page, it's analyzing what actually gets results.
Yeah, it's like having a secret weapon, almost.
Right. Instead of
Yeah.
just sending your resume out into the void and hoping for the best.
Exactly. Okay, but a good resume only gets you so far. You still have that interview to tackle. And RoleCatcher has that massive library of interview questions, right? Like over 120,000 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot of questions. Is that even helpful? Who could possibly prepare for that many?
I know, it sounds a little crazy, but the point isn't to memorize answers. It's more about having a wide range of practice questions, covering all kinds of scenarios you might encounter.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And what I liked about RoleCatcher's approach is they give you context for each question.
So it's not just like, tell me about your greatest weakness a million times.
No, not at all. They actually explain what the employer is trying to figure out with each question.
Yeah.
What kind of answers show the skills they're looking for.
Oh, so it's like peeking behind the curtain. You get to see what they're really after.
Exactly.
That's actually super helpful, because then you can tailor your answers to what they want to hear. It's like if you're studying for a test and you know what topics are going to be on it, you can focus your energy, right?
Precisely. Preparation is key, no matter what the job is. And speaking of preparation, something we were talking about earlier really got me thinking. This whole idea that the credit advising world is changing so fast with all the new tech and everything.
Oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
even just those apps that let you borrow money instantly on your phone.
Right. It's crazy how different it is now.
Totally different from how our parents did things.
Think about it. There are already algorithms out there that decide if you're good for a loan. Sometimes they don't even use credit scores anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So, what does that mean for credit advisors in the future? Maybe they'll be working more closely with AI.
So not replacing human advisors, but
Right.
advisors using AI.
Yeah, exactly. Combining their expertise with what the AI can do. I think that's going to be huge. We might even start seeing more preventative advising.
Preventative.
Like instead of just helping people get out of debt, they're teaching them how to avoid it in the first place. Financial literacy and all that.
Oh, I love that. It's so much better to get ahead of it than to play catch up later.
Right. Especially for younger people just starting out, it could make a huge difference.
Wow, this has been really eye-opening.
Mhm.
It seems like a field with a lot of challenges, but also like massive potential for good.
Absolutely. If you're someone who's good with money, but you also genuinely want to help people, it could be a really rewarding career.
For sure. And hey, if anyone's feeling inspired after this, RoleCatcher seems like the place to start, right?
Totally. Their guides are super in-depth, and those extra resources like that AI resume builder we talked about, that could be a game changer.
It's like they're giving you the tools to actually succeed. Well, that is about all the time we have for today's deep dive. Big thanks to our expert for breaking down all things credit advising.
Happy to be here.
And for everyone listening, we hope this has given you some things to think about. It's a fascinating field that's only going to get more relevant as time goes on. Until next time, stay curious.